guys, it's MJ from Alta Love. How are you? I wanted to talk a little bit about knowing and living your worth and value, and the difference in our sense of self, and then how we're able to show up in the world based on the inner transformation of really disciplining our mind, restructuring our thought programs, and then allowing ourselves to feel and heal the densities, as I call them in the book. Emotional trauma, ancestral trauma, baggage, basically, the baggage that we're carrying from our past patterning. And, one thing I'm hearing is in the last probably 2 to 3 months, I've had a few run-ups against the resistance, which is an aspect of my own storytelling as a woman in the world and a feminist and all this kind of stuff. And part of it is the collective oppression of women's role in society not being valued on an economic level. Thus, perhaps in a deeper way, women have a much more integral revolution to create within themselves as far as owning their worth and value in the world of an economy, right? Because often that's where, what I've felt anyway, is that it was like old paradigm. I was expected to kind of fit into the world to get ahead in the world, right? Which is why someone like myself is weirdly actually pretty radical, because I basically, every time I tried to get into a work environment, I kind of couldn't survive. I either felt like I wasn't valued or worth as much as what I felt I was worth. I saw through the system at that point, so I thought minimum wage is to me basically slave labor, and you could see all the... So anyway, working for other people is never going to work for me. So I've been freelancing since 2007 and set up my own company in 2013 based on the new paradigm, based on the idea of equanimous exchange, that everyone is sort of valued equally and there's no invisible shareholders at the top. So that's a really radical, different way of running business, because it means that I don't run the business based on the bottom line, right? Katie and I run the business based on profitability in a sense of sustainability and vision, and creating visions and supporting people in their visions. And that's such a platform for all to love. And so really, to me, a business and understanding true abundance is a flow, is a continual exchange of energy. And that is something that I've really sort of dug into and felt into perpetually, because I do understand and recognize that every single human being has a different way of externalizing their sense of self-worth, right? For some people, it is important to have lots of money in the bank. For some people, they need to have a savings cushion. For some people, they need to prepare and plan and have budgets and da-da-da-da-da. For other people, it doesn't work that way. For some people, it doesn't, that sense of being on top of finances doesn't necessarily align. I'm somebody who's naturally attracted lots of different abundance in lots of different ways, and then not in lots of different ways. And what I'm recognizing through doing all of this in our work is how different I feel showing up in the world and feeling the self-worth, feeling the value, knowing the value and knowing the worth. And then how clear that becomes when there's, again, subtle ways of manipulation or lack of clarity, or trying to get something in a roundabout way. And that's something I just don't tolerate anymore. It just doesn't kind of bump up against me. Now, also what I'm realizing is because there's sometimes a double standard, and there has been a dominant kind of program that's a little bit different for boys and girls, or men and women. What I'm noticing is that deeper, that really grounded, deep sense of integrity and love and compassion comes about in different ways for the different genders. That's I think something I'm really having to own and recognize, and yet really stand in my power when it comes to those interactions, and when it comes to whether it's business, professional, personal, in a sense, it's all still a reflection of my own sense of value, worth, and self-love. And I guess part of the program sometimes is that I think there's a very different energy around entitlement, and I give me that, you should do this for me, and I should get this, that, and the other, which is why I think a lot of times we get into The Secret or Law of Attraction, and we want it now. And then because we have this quick fix culture, when we don't get it right away, we're like, oh, whatever. And we just kind of blame this, blame that, blame someone else, and don't realize the depth of our power, which is often part and parcel of this cultural denial of the emotional body. And we do really have to honor and recognize the extent of that denial, right? Because it really is our emotions, the energy that we are, the vibrational, vortexual energy that we are, that is what ultimately perpetuates the perception that we're perceiving this reality, like the window of perception that we're perceiving through, right? And because there's so much fear around our emotions, I'm just seeing kind of like people getting kind of caught up in these patterns and really confused and really chaotic. And in the first instance, just being able to really drop into our feeling body is one monumental kind of leap that we make. And then it's about dropping into the groundedness of that as a way of being, as a practiced way of being, that we hold space for ourselves, that we feel things, because we know more often than not that trigger reactivity is coming from past patterning. It's coming from past projections, not just from this lifetime, from past lives, and from a karmic sort of memory bank, karmic collective, human collective consciousness memory bank. So we as beings, as energy beings, are shifting a karmic backlog whilst being in this present moment, and then dropping or transcending different timelines on lower frequencies to step into a higher frequency of projected reality. And that is something that I'm endeavoring to share with you, because I'm day to day, moment by moment, cycle by cycle, seeing these humongous shifts in how I'm living my life, knowing that it's coming from within the connection that I'm yoking and dialoguing from within myself. And then with greater clarity, with all these little shifts, I'm seeing where I'm having to refine that discipline in my mind even more. So now it's really coming to this place where I have to completely shapeshift what my thoughts and past projections around men, love, and relationships, because there's a lot of twistedness and distortion around that, right? And I'm starting to see it more clearly because I've really shifted my own sense of self-love and self-worth, and like I'm sort of independent, financially, economically stable in this world as an independent woman. And so I'm not unconsciously seeking money or seeking value or seeking attention from a man in that way anymore. But it's taken me a while to kind of work out that program. And it's not that we independent women don't need a man, because we do. Hi there, Dick. How are you? We all do. I think we all desire love and intimacy and relationship and but not in a codependent way, not in a manipulative way, not in certainly not in an oppressive way where somebody's always expecting you to kind of pick up the reins. And that's something else I'm realizing, is like honoring the fact that for a lot of us of this generation, certainly, it was like the emotions were bad and women are just stupid, hysterical things, and like, oh God, they're so annoying, and realizing like that's really not fair. And actually for both parties to be emotionally supported and independent, sovereign economically is really the only way we can honor one another's sovereignty and independence. And yet it's quite a journey unraveling this economy, because most of us in this system aren't properly trained how to manifest from a place of value and worth and alignment. We're basically trained just to be programmed, just to be slaves in the program, right? And again, I do believe this is some aspect of our own conscious choosing. And yet, as you work through different veils of creation, oftentimes you do have to claim your sovereignty. So you do have to, like, this might sound weird to some of you, but I've actually done ceremony in small collectives of people where I've disentangled my codependent or like soul contracts, some people call them. So soul contracts with the banking system, with governments, with political bodies, stuff like that kind of hang over us. But really, I don't owe them anything, and those contracts were often done like kind of in sneaky ways. So you're just like, no, I claim my sovereignty. And then the shift from this over the last few years is the fact that, how the heck are you, Deborah Clark? The thing that really shifted me, so that was like, I think back in 2015 when I did that, I don't get triggered by money anymore. Like I somehow still have stuff come up, but I know it has nothing to do with that because I'm always supported. And like the more leaps I take, the more abundance shows up, and the more kind of value in a very real way. Like people pay me more to do the stuff that I do, and Ultra Love continues to grow. So that's like really exciting. Hola, chicas. Actually, you're all here and you're all showing up, but I've got to go because I'm in central London right now, and I have a session actually quite close to the Queen to the Queen's house. The Queen has a house in London. It's called Buckingham Palace. Blessings and love and light to all of you. I hope that was useful. Maybe even a little oh my gosh, you guys, Nestor, you guys, I love you. Next week we celebrate the victory. Rah! Like, I'm so excited just generally about life and being here with all of you. Oh, I know I'm a little bit late coming on live actually, because I had other stuff and last minute bookings as well. So anyway, you guys, look, see, I'm moving all over the place. So I'm leaving because Katie and I have finished the Zenful Zero Waste course now. I'm moving out of Brighton, but properly moving back to London. London town, all of you. You guys, I love you so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. I'm so appreciative of you and thankful for your presence, and always virtual hugs, virtual hugs. Have a gorgeous day, night, wherever you are in the world. Love you loads, and I'll speak to you guys real soon. Peace out, lovers.